The Armando Diaz experience came, I guess, sort of on accident. I was hanging out with Kevin Dorff, Adam McKay, and Dave Koechner, and we were drinking and we were hanging out in my apartment, and it was kind of late at night, and they started talking about that, and they really talked about how much they missed just playing with other improvisers. You know, that like with Second City, there would be a lot of, you know, Improv Olympic people cast, but you know, you were working on sketch shows and things like that, and so you didn't really get to just do pure all-out long form. They wanted to kind of figure out a way in which you would sort of decide who get to play each week and stuff. So Adam came up with the idea that, you know, everybody would just, you know, that'd be called the Armando Diaz experience, and that everybody would just like, you know, serve me in some way, like that I would be the person. So we had our first rehearsal with Del, and, you know, I was super nervous because these were just, you know, some of the most amazing improvisers on the planet Earth, and then me, you know, and it's just like, who am I, you know, like, so we had the first rehearsal, and I was trying to improvise a monologue, and it just totally bombed, and it was a painful rehearsal. Didn't matter what I did, I just couldn't come up with anything good. We had one more rehearsal with Del before the show went up, so there's a lot of pressure on it, and so I walk into that rehearsal, and the first thing Del does is give this big speech of just like, okay, well, we've got the big Armando Diaz experience show on Monday, you know, and we have to ask ourselves, are we really serious about this? Like, you know, what purpose do we have for Armando, you know, like, or is this just a joke or something, you know? And I was like, oh, he's really, yeah, he's really kind of pinning me to the wall here, you know? And he was just basically saying, it's like, either you put up and do it well, or we're going to replace you, you know, in so many words. So we're getting up, and I'm going to do my first monologue. And, you know, before we take a suggestion, he says to me, it's just like, all right, you know, Armando, remember the old-time comedians who would do impressions? You know, how they'd like turn around and, you know, mess their face up and transform into somebody else. I want you to do that. Like, you'll take a suggestion, you're going to turn around, and you're going to, you know, transform yourself. And I was like, what? What are you talking about, you know? But it was Del, and everybody's looking at me, and so I was like, all right. So I get a suggestion. I turn around, you know, I do that kind of motion, like pretending like I'm, you know, becoming a different character. And then I turn back around, and then I deliver a monologue, and suddenly it's like brilliant. It just totally worked. Like, it was like this weird Del magic that was just like came out of nowhere and just sort of disrupted my circuits or something, and made me do what I needed to do, which in retrospect and after having taught a lot, like I realized, like, oh, okay, I need to just take my time. You know, I need to just, you know, forget about being nervous. It gave me something to do with my hands and my energy, and so suddenly I just, you know, didn't think so much about the monologue, and then it came out. And so I would do that for the first bunch of shows, like, and it was always kind of funny because like the audience didn't know what to make of it. Like, get a suggestion, I turn around, do this thing, I turn back, and I'd look exactly the same, and people would kind of like titter, like, ha ha ha, you know, and it was just weird. But then the stories were fine, and it ended up working as a bit of direction. So, you know, we had our first show that Monday, and it ended up just working, you know, like it ended up just being successful, and the stories were good, and it just became a successful show.